When will my suffering end? These thoughts must have crossed their minds. Sadly, their suffering will end when pigs fly. This video you're about to watch is not for the squeamish. So every year in Sanxia Taipei, there's a Hakka festival that pays homage to these poor pigs being force-fed to reach a certain weight and girth requirements. For the pigs of God festival, size do matter. So it takes a farmer about a 2-year process to actually rear as well as feed a pig from this size to an extremely large one. So large is what I mean that their ideal weight is about 800 to 950 kilograms. So it's a 2-year process. They're being force fed prior a week before their weigh-in. Of trying to attain that ideal weight of 800 to 950 kilos. That's about 10 times the weight of a normal, healthy pig, be it like like a normal pink color one or even a normal Berkshire, one of your Berkshire pigs. It's about 10 times that of a regular one. So they, like I said, towards the end of the final week prior to weigh-in, the poor pigs would actually be force-fed sand and sometimes even lead to actually increase their weight. So when they go in for a weigh-in, they might come in as the top 3 pigs who will be the highest weight for that year. So it's not only a matter of pride for the farmer of the winning top 3 pigs, but it's also a case of the god Yemin, a Hakka deity, bestowing the family and the winning farmer, and I mean all 3, the top 3 winning farmers bestowed good luck and prosperity for the rest of the year. So like I said, it's a 2-year process to fatten up that hog. These poor pigs are actually kept in really tight living conditions. Tight meaning there's no way for them to do even a 360 turn, neither 240 turn. It will be either back and forth, and they'll be actually locked in with lots of grills and metal grills. They can barely move, so they're actually stuck in that particular position. They're being force-fed feed within that whole 2-year process to actually get them really fattened up, to a point that these poor pigs, they actually have organ failure. They're probably already going mad from being fed constantly and being this contraption like made of a cheap PVC pipe, ramming it down your throat, feeding you all times of the day, even though you don't feel like eating. There are videos of pigs that have totally climbed up, they refuse to eat, but still being force fed. And so these they're totally locked in, they can't move, so there'd be horrible bed sores, they can't even turn to their sides or anything, so they're squashed like that. Can you imagine being really all tight? It's just not the way to live, even for an animal. Any animal, be it a pig or a sheep or horses, goats, donkeys, anything, even our household pets, kittens and puppies and puppets, and there's no way an animal has to live this way. So towards the end of that 2-year period, after being forced fed heaps of grain and all the probably heaps of grain that would obviously swell up with water, so adds the weight of carbs, sand and lead towards the last week of weigh-in. These poor pigs are in so much pain, they've already gone mad. They probably have bed sores from not being able to move, and their organs would have already failed, so they're already hanging on to life, and they could barely move, like I said, and fear would definitely cloud their eyes and face. So the top 3 pigs, which on the day to weigh in, who weigh the heaviest, like I said, the ideal weigh-in weight is about 800 to 950. So there'll be top 3 to select the fattest, heaviest pigs. They'll be slaughtered, in public, sacrificed for this Pigs of God festival. The poor pigs will actually, after they slaughtered, the skins will actually be they'll be sliced right open like a spatchcock, and they'll be dragged over this huge metal ball and placed onto like a viewing platform of some sort. And the skins are shaved and they're painted white and black. The dagger that was used to end their lives or to slaughter them will be stabbed in the middle of their back, a pineapple stuffed in their mouth. It's an obscene image, but there are thousands of people throng this particular Hakka festival yearly, but they don't seem to be affected by the fact that there's 3 pigs all decorated up, and it's almost disco, carnival disco like, because it's got techno, loud music, lights, and ostentatious decorations decorating these 3 pigs. I'm still trying to understand in this day and age, why do we need to do something like that? Such brutal tradition and custom still has to stand. With all due respect, I totally, truly believe that no religion would subject, any animal or even mankind to such cruel abuse and unnecessary suffering, as well as the killing of animals. Like I said, thousands of people throng this this event every year in Sanxia, in Taipei, and worshipping the deity, the Hakka deity, and they don't seem to be fazed of these obscene 3 pigs on display. The heaviest one, the first prize, will be in the middle, flanked by second, third prize. And everyone will be standing in front, with the cameras doing like selfies selfies in front of pigs and with the kids and things like that. So they don't seem to be phased. And after all the offerings are being offered, the meat is actually slaughtered up, and then it's fresh killed. So everyone's being distributed a portion of the meat as well. So We Animals Media, founded by Joanne MacArthur, which I actually chanced upon while researching these Pigs of God festival. They have also highlighted the plight of these poor pigs, and sadly the politicians and the government in Taiwan is actually truly well aware. Especially during the 2016 and 2017 elections, they did try to show some extra care, but they still try to turn a blind eye, even though they're well aware of sufferings of these poor pigs, and farmers doing underhand means by feeding them lead and sand just to increase their weight, and they look horribly obscene. But the turn a blind eye, just the politicians, like I said, and the government of Taipei actually turns a blind eye because they probably for fear of the backlash from the Hakka community. And even in 2016, because of the elections in Taiwan, there were more politicians and legislative, administrative officers and things like that. They actually appeared at the Pigs of God festival to mingle with the crowd, things like that. But they didn't seem to put a stop to anything. There are animal activists, and like I said, We Animals Media is cotton on to this what's happening. So like foie gras is to France, these poor pigs are being force fed daily for 2 years, and only to be paraded, slaughtered in public with no respect, paraded like a carnival freak show. I really, I think we really have to put a stop to this. And how do we do that? Is we really need to tackle the heart of where it actually started. So in Sanxia, in Yiming Temple, you know, I hope with this video that that you're watching right now, more awareness of what's happening to these poor pigs in Taipei that are being selected for the Pigs of God festival can be made. So, you know, it's not asking us to lose sight of this this Hakka festival that's rich in tradition and customs and history, because it's more than 200 years old. So, you know, we're not asking anyone to lose sight of that. But, you know, as human beings with a bigger heart, we should be looking for substitutions instead of using live pigs. So, you know, we can even make pigs out of mian xian, you know, like noodles or anything like that, like shirley, like we can make pigs out of dough or bags of rice. You know, it's 2020. Someone has to come up with a better idea of how we can replace these poor pigs that are selected to be, you know, slaughtered and sacrificed on the day of the Pigs of the God festival. Surely someone out there will be able to give us a better idea of what we can use to you know, even an effigy of some sort made of paper mache and burned up into flames later on at the end of the festival. That would have been a better option than, you know, sacrificing and putting an end to these poor pigs' life. And you know, there's no purpose at all. At the end of the day, you know, they suffer from day one right up to, you know, the last day of their lives. 2 years. What about the, you know, the rest of the other pigs that were not selected? So, you know, your top 3 might be within the 900 to 950 range. The rest would just die of organ failure. Like they're being fed, they're not even walk, they can't even go out to breathe any fresh air or anything like that. The living conditions of these pigs are appalling. You know, can you imagine if someone locks you up in a little cage and feeds you, you know, through a tube every day for the past 2 years, and then say, okay, goodbye, I don't want you, you know, you're not needed, you don't weigh as heavy as the top 3. So yeah, I think, you know, this is a call for you know, any animal activists, you know, people of Taiwan, the younger generation, anyone who you know, We Animals Media, Joanne MacArthur, you know, this has to stop. And I think with all of us joining our hands together, we'll be able to find, like I said, a better substitution instead of the pigs. So maybe someday their sufferings, you know, will end, and we don't have to wait for the pigs to fly.